Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I have my good friend Alicia Barr here, who does sales and marketing coaching. She is outstanding at capturing your voice. She's been capturing mine on a lot of my stuff, if you've noticed a difference. Alicia, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Jade. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. I have this question for you, and I run into this a lot when I'm doing either my own videos or I'm coaching people through theirs. They're like afraid to sell and they're afraid to ask for things in their videos to complete the transaction. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, so people are always afraid of selling. I mean, in their marketing videos, they're probably afraid that they're going to turn somebody off. In regular life, I guess it's the same in both situations. They're scared of rejection. So the irony is that the person who you're talking to is hoping that you have the solution. They're hoping that you can solve it so that they can solve this problem once and for all and not worry about it anymore. So there's really not that fear of rejection that you need to worry about. It's not a power imbalance at all. You're an expert coming to them, and if they have an issue you can solve, then that would be amazing. And that's what the conversation should be about. Like, can I solve your challenge? Not, can you give me money?
Right. And so, how do you balance that out with your method of asking questions and conversation and then curving it into the offer? How do you do that? Because you do a great job with it.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I think it's really important to always come from the place of genuinely trying to understand someone's situation and with the intention of whether you can help them or not with the intention of whether you can sell them or not, but whether you can help them. So as long as you come from a genuinely helpful point of view, nobody's going to take whatever you're saying or asking wrong at all. So you want to ask enough questions that uncover your understanding of their situation so you really know what's going on. And then once you do, and you're confident that you can solve this problem, then you're like, okay, great. We solve this all the time. Here's how we do it.
Right. And so let's say you're in a conversation like what you're talking about, and you find that you're not the right resource for them. How do you put it in a way of not so much saying you're not the right client for us, but to get them the direction that they need to go? How do you handle that?
Yeah, I think it's so important to just always be helpful. I hate being like, okay, sorry, I can't help you. Bye. Um,
Right? That happens a lot.
yeah, like I want them to be able to get further along in their process because people remember you, they come back later, they refer you, there's all kinds of things. So if you uncover their problem and you discover that you're not the right resource, you would say, so I don't really do that actually. I'm not the best fit for that problem. We focus more on X, but I could introduce you to somebody who would help you with that. Would you be interested?
That's a perfect way to say it because I get this question all the time like, hey, do you do weddings? And I'm like, no, I don't do weddings at all, but I have someone I can refer you to. And I mean, that's why this type of business world we live in is so cool because it's not a one-stop shop. A lot of people are specialists and really honing into that specialization. So we hear a lot of that elevate and separate kind of thing. Instead of saying I'm better than, it's the I do this. So how do you teach people how to curve their offer, their 30-second commercial, whatever it is when they're talking to people on doing that I'm different than, not better than?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to know, first of all, like what makes you different. So I come across a lot that people don't know what their competition's doing because they use this analogy like, if I'm going to win a race, I just need to focus on like my track and not look at anyone else's track. And I feel like that's really a flawed metaphor. So yeah, maybe you don't need to look at them while you're running, but beforehand, why don't you watch what they do and see if you can pick up anything, or how you do things different because your body's shaped differently. So the same is true for your offer or your company. So it's like, okay, well, these other people, their angle is really moms. Well, ours is going to be more at this market, and we're going to serve that market better by having meals for one instead of meals
Mm,
for five or whatever.
okay.
So like being able to point out, like know what everyone else is doing and then differentiate yourself from it by saying like a lot of other people focus on moms and families
Mhm.
and we serve you by making it so that it's for one meal, which is so hard to make, right?
Right? What do you for yourself, especially for a lot of us that we're really busy all the time. We need stuff for just one serve, it seems like. So how do you talk to people when you're coaching them? Because obviously you do this professionally, you coach people on how to do this. Let's say they're like me and they're afraid of the rejection. They're afraid to talk to people and they just want to be creative or they just want to do their job. What do you tell them? How do you help them?
What do you mean? Like you want to be creative and do your job, or they want to be creative and do their?
So let's say your client, well, I am your client, so let's just
Okay.
go with that. You know how I don't like to sell, I don't like
Okay.
to get out there, and I just want to be creative and do my thing. How do you work with people like that to get them past this whole, I'm afraid to be rejected. I don't want to be rejected.
Yeah, I think it's like focusing entirely on the situation at hand and not thinking about that at all. So for a creative, you like coming up with ideas, right? So it'll
Yeah.
probably be a really good distraction to ask them what they've done and what they want to do, and then start brainstorming ideas right there. It would be fun. You would be totally distracted by the brainstorming, and your excitement and enthusiasm and passion would shine through. And the other person would just naturally want to work with you if it was a fit, because you've already got all these great ideas and you're not even talking about like, and give you 5 hours instead of 2 or whatever. Like that stuff isn't necessarily part of it. It's just like, what's the next step? Because you've had such a good time coming up with ideas that are going to benefit them based on their particular needs.
That's a really good way to put that. And I think that is exactly what we've worked on together for sure. There was another thing that you had brought up on one of our other conversations with people that are very giving and just want to give away everything and they don't get anything in return. That's a hard place to be because some people do want to give, but then they don't eat that night. So, how do you come from a place of service without coming off as, like you said, scummy or just giving away the farm? Like, how do you convince your clients like me to not give everything away and how to sell?
Well, that is a tougher problem because it's like an inner mindset thing. I think also it's like your client doesn't get as much out of it if it's free. Like we've all done it. I've done it. Everyone I know has done it at least once where they've given the thing for free and then the client doesn't do any of it and doesn't see any results. And it's like, what a waste of my time and energy and effort. So once you've had that experience enough times, you usually, hopefully one time is enough, but you won't do it again. You'll learn to set a boundary because I mean, it's one thing that if it's taken and they run with it and they get a result and that's wonderful, but usually they don't. The other thing is like sometimes people, if they're a giving person, that's the issue that they run into. So it's like do the best thing for your client, really, and you, like the use of your time and energy. And then if it's like, I need to do this because I haven't charged for it before, and so I haven't like done it before, I'm new to it or whatever, then you can just arrange something where it's like in exchange for a testimonial or
Mhm.
something in it for you, even though it's not money, or maybe a trade or,
Totally. I think that's a really great way to look at it. And so just giving it, seeing how you can position it differently, like you said, like getting a good testimonial or, that you can trade or maybe be introduced to somebody that would be a good client for you. That's a really, really creative way to come up with that. Actually, I hadn't even thought of that. So now I have a new game plan. Thank you so much.
good. It's
So,
like, how can I
um,
put this in my favor? Let's
yeah,
negotiate.
without being gross about it. So, why
Right.
do you feel like some people feel so gross about sales? You use that word, and that's such a great word to elicit how you feel when you're selling like that.
Yeah, people just, even if they're not selling like that, they feel gross. And it really comes from the fact that everyone has had an experience with a gross salesperson. Everyone has. And it sucks. And they always think, I don't want to be like that person. And they associate just the act of selling, period, as being like that person. But it's not the same thing. So it's really just like this reinforced false belief or misconception based on an experience that they had, that they're like internalizing for themselves. So everybody's had a situation where they're like, they pulled one over on me, they oversold me, or they were just really aggressive or whatever. And,
Right.
they're good people, so they don't want to be associated with that, which is great. But you're doing people a disservice by not selling if you're somebody who actually takes care of your clients and cares about their results, because most people don't. So you need to like do it for other people, like get it together.
And when we were on that retreat together, you talked about the difference between selling and offering. Can you share that with the group here?
I think I don't remember that exactly, but I would guess that I was talking about how selling is really like when you feel like you're like embellishing things, and offering is just like, hey, this is your situation and this is how I would solve it. Like, does that work for you? Like, do you want to move forward? Not like these are the different, features that we have and this and that. A lot of people also feel the need to go through every single element of their service or product.
Mhm.
And like most people just need to know the part that they care about. So nobody cares about every piece of yours, but when you go on and on about all the things, like you lose them and it feels like you're selling. And if it's just a transparent conversation about like, here's how I would solve that need for you, it just feels like an offer of like, let's work together because I
Mhm.
can help you, not
Right.
like let me tell you that I'm going to hang the moon for you and you'll give me money to do it.
Well, and that was the point you said of asking questions. You're able to figure out what features you offer that are going to best suit that so you don't overdo it. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I always say that there's like one thing that is the most important thing to somebody. And, usually it's like, I don't know. Usually it's like time or money or convenience or something like that.
Sure.
Or quality. Quality is really a part of convenience though. But because you can't do it quality on your own. So you're like, it's more
Right,
convenient
right,
for you
right.
to do a quality job. But yeah, you really want to focus on that one thing. So if you find out that it's really about time, they don't have any time, then the most of what you're going to talk about are the features related to time, how much time you're going to save them, how much time do they have, how can you make it so that they can spend even less time, and then everything else is just kind of like a bonus.
Yeah. Just like the extra that already comes with what you offer, that they're going to see it as a bonus because everyone likes getting a bonus of some kind. Like that just feels good, right?
Yeah. So then on
So,
top of it, it's like, and then you also get this like, upgraded blah bitty blah thing.
yeah, right. I love the words here with like the upgraded blah 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 because it's very much like fit in what you offer.
Yeah, like this HD upgrade package, which is going to make it look like super professional, and we'll have like all the latest equipment. Like those things might not be what they cared about primarily, but when you mention them as a bonus, they're like, cool. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
even better about this. Yeah.
So, of course, I want to tell people how they can get in touch with you and what you offer. Can you give me your quick, like, how people can talk to you and what you can help them with?
Yeah, so I'm all about the subtle art of selling and putting humanity back into sales. Like it's just two humans having a conversation. It's not like a gross salesperson and pray. Um,
It's so fitting that you're dressed like you are, too.
yeah, I would be prey, but I'm a zombie, so now I'm the predator. Like,
Yeah.
be a zombie. But yeah, so if you go to my website, aliciabarr.com, I have the 6 ways you can immediately close more business on there. And I do one-on-one coaching, and then you can also get on my VIP, my wait list for my group coaching that I'm going to re-release soon.
That's exciting. So we'll put all that information in the comments. But Alicia, thank you so much for your time and sharing your wisdom. And I hope everyone got some really great content from our interview today.
Thank you so much, Jade, for having me. And you look incredible.
Thank you. Everybody have a safe and happy Halloween, and we'll catch you next month. Thank you so much.
All right, bye.